This week on the Erotic Awakening Podcast, episode 764, Relationship Styles, Part 1, Polyamory in the News, and Splash and Howl. Welcome to Erotic Awakening, an exploration of all things erotic. If you are offended by adult topics or prohibited by law, I recommend you stop listening right now. First, a heartfelt thanks to the amazing patrons of Erotic Awakening, each and every one of you. Your support literally keeps this podcast, the longest running kink podcast, on the air. This week, a special welcome to our newest supporter, Kayla. I'm so glad you're here, and thanks for your support. If you'd like to help support the show, consider becoming a patron. Just visit patreon.com/eroticawakening to sign up. Hi, everyone. I'm Dawn, and I'm here this week to continue the conversations on power exchange, polyamory, sacred sexuality, and simply fun kink. This week on the show, I'm going to cover some relationship styles. FetLife keeps adding more, so I thought I'd take a glance at them, see if anything would fit better than what I currently have. And there is a long, long, long list. Some of them are pretty simple, like couple, right? Pretty simple, mostly. We can kind of figure out what that means. And some of them are very complicated and very academic sounding. And honestly, I didn't want to cover those. So I thought I would cover some that we may find interesting. Maybe I'm the only one interested in them, but I thought I'd share it with you. So on that list, there are some that are kind of vanilla, some that are very niche, some that are specifically for kink relationships. So let's see what we got here. I wanted to put so many on here, and I ended up just picking out 5 or 6. And my plan is to go through some more because, again, I'd like to learn about them as well. So we're starting in the A's. And we're starting with adult nursing relationship. Now, this one's kind of cool to me because I just finished watching The Boys on Prime. I think it's Prime. I'm pretty sure it's Prime. And there is definitely a character in there that leans into his adult nursing relationships. And honestly, for me, not for everyone, I found it kind of weird and hot at the same time. How many of our fetishes are like that? So, adult nursing relationships. And if you want to know a little bit more about Dawn, I really do find this very hot. An adult nursing relationship, A&R, involves 2 or more adults who engage in adult breastfeeding together. Usually one person in the relationship who may or may not lactate, it does not necessarily mean that someone's lactating, has a partner who suckles regularly as part of their relationship. Suckles regularly. The deep sucking on the nipples, okay, that's hot. An A&R is usually a loving, committed relationship between the people involved. It is usually less a single kink and more a flexible relationship dynamic centered on intimacy and bonding. It's often practiced as a long-term community-supported lifestyle. A long-term community support. I don't know that we need that to be part of the definition. Anyway, because some people do this and they're not part of the community. Okay, yeah, I give a little pushback on that description. But anyway, it goes on to say ongoing nipple stimulation alone can cause lactation in some people, even if they've never been pregnant before. But the lactation itself is not essential to an A&R relationship. So it seems to be more about the suckling, the bonding, and the long-term part of the relationship seems to be what they're focusing on. So that is adult nursing relationship. I would like to rename that as adult suckling relationship, but it's okay. All right, the next one is Ambimorous. Try pronouncing that one. Ambimorous. I'm going to stutter over that word. Ambimorous is the capability of experiencing and enjoying both monogamous and polyamorous relationships, usually without much preference leaning either way. Now, for me, I believe that some people are wired one way or the other, and some people and others are not, and they really can go either way. Now, if I see someone on like OkCupid or something like that, and their profile says if they can do poly or monogamy, I tend to not usually date those people because I think they're just keeping their dating opportunities wide open and they're not really sure what they are. But that's me. And I'm also aware that there are people that are situational. They're situational poly, situational monogamous. It depends on who they're dating, what the situation is, and they really can lean into either one or the other. Hmm, I don't know. If I reflect on me, I just don't know that I could do monogamy again. I was not successful at it when I tried it before. It's just not how I'm wired. But people are. So there you go. Ambiamorous. Then we have anchor partner. An anchor partner typically refers to someone who is a central, stabilizing presence in another person's life, a long-term emotional and relational anchor. So anchor partners are people you have a strong, lasting bond with. They may share life plans and responsibilities with you, like it could be your partner that you live with. Most of the time we call those nesting partners. Anchor partners may be that person, or it may be someone else in their life. So it is a steady presence in your life without being called a primary. Now, sometimes people use anchor partner so that they're not using hierarchical labels like primary and secondary. For me, if someone is using the term anchor partner, I ask them what that means to them because it can mean a couple of different things. So, anchor partner. Now we have boy wife. A boy wife is usually a man or masculine aligned person who embraces a wife coded role in a relationship while still identifying with boyhood or masculinity. So, this is a term that's usually affectionately used with a masculine identifying person who likes to do, oh, what we call wife duties in the house, I guess, right? It means they like to do the homemaking, the nurturing, the cooking. Yeah, you get my drift. So the way it's described in FET is they simply embody a soft, devoted partner dynamic. And then those with lesbian, trans masculine, non-binary, or gender non-conforming identities may tend to spell this as BOI, wife. Boy wife is most common in queer and femboy, non-binary, and fandom spaces. It is also used by fans and romance communities to describe soft, devoted, or submissive coded male characters and partners. So, boy wife. And oddly enough, I came across one of the relationship styles called Boston marriage, and I had just seen a short or a reel or whatever you want to call it about Boston marriage. I had never heard of this before, but the reel had a woman and someone going, "Oh, what a shame that you two spinsters are living together, that must be whatever." And the woman just gives a look like, oh yeah, right. So I should be sad that I'm living with another spinster woman. Yes, yes, sad. You kind of pick up from the look on her face that this is not something to be sad over. And then I come across the definition on FetLife. So I found that really interesting in that it showed up in my feed and then on Fet, like within days of each other when I'd never heard of it before. So Boston marriage, it's a historical term for a life partnership between two women who live together, share finances, and do so independent of any male relationships. So not all of these relationships were or are, because I actually know of one, not all of these relationships were or are lesbian in nature or even romantic. In the past, a Boston marriage was also a way for a woman to avoid traditional marriage and children without scrutiny. So in the modern day, most of these relationships are termed queer platonic relationships, although the term has reemerged often to refer to straight women who live together for companionship and support. And again, I know of people doing this. Some of them are combining their finances, they're buying houses together, they are acting as a couple, except they are not sexually a couple. So it's kind of neat. And honestly, I picture more women doing this as we get older and realize it's an option. So then we have chosen family. So chosen family refers to a group of people who form close family-like bonds by choice rather than through biological or legal relationships. In kink and BDSM and polyamory, it often includes partners, friends, play partners, and community members. For most of us, it is our support network. It is not the family we were born into. And many people that are in these alternative communities, this is where we find our family. This is where we find our support network. This is our chosen family. So it's exactly what it sounds like. And then we have Comet partner. So in polyamorous or non-monogamous relationships, a Comet partner is a romantic or a sexual partner who is seen infrequently, but with whom a deep and meaningful connection is typically maintained. In the same way that the comet passes Earth only occasionally, these partners see each other in person irregularly for any number of reasons, but the connection is special. The level of contact between seeing each other in person varies from relationship to relationship. So there's no real uh, uh, definitive timeline as to what makes a comet relationship. I could say that my relationship with Big D is a comet relationship. He's a full-time RVer. I was a full-time RVer. Now I'm more of a nomad because I don't have an RV. So we can be on opposite sides of the country and not get to see each other for months. But when we can, we do. And we are in contact. It is a meaningful relationship. And so, yeah, it could be considered a comet, but there's also other labels that I use as well. So anyway, there are a couple of relationship styles. Again, we have adult nursing relationship, amorous, anchor partner, boy wife, Boston marriage, and chosen family and comet partner. So there are a few that we can choose from. And I found out today that a few more were added to the list today. So I may have more for you later. I'll definitely have more for you later because that list is long and I want to learn more things about different relationship styles. If you'd like to talk about any of these styles or anyone that works for you, and you want to share it over a cup of coffee or in person, or talk about whatever, here's where you can find me. I'll be checking out an event in South Dakota and being in the state for about 10 days Next week, I think, is when I leave for that. So that's a camping event. I'll be at Libertine in southern Indiana over the Labor Day weekend. I'll be presenting and camping. Seek, a submissive retreat in Wisconsin, October 8th through 11th. Satiricon in Madison, November 8th, where I'll be vending. Kink Holiday Bazaar in Chicago, November 21st, where I'll be vending. More info to come as the details get ironed out. Keep up with all the places I'm presenting or vending, my online classes and intensive book news discounts and more via the Erotic Awakening newsletter. And I actually skipped a couple of months with that and just got one out a couple of days ago. So I'm super excited about being back on track with that. When you sign up, you get your EA shout out like Lucy in New York City and Michelle in Florida. Head over to eroticawakening.com and subscribe to the newsletter today. Did you guys know that there's a blog that's been around for years about polyamory in the news? I'm pretty sure I've talked about it. I'm positive I've talked about it on the show before, but you may not have heard that episode. And the person that writes it used to attend Beyond the Love, which was mine and Dan's polyamory, well, mine, Dan, and Karen's polyamory convention that we had for years. I'm going to pull it up right now. What are the top topics on it right now? Movie, The Invite, the representation we've been waiting for, is a disappointment. 2 new polyam novels, the 3 most common reasons polyamory fails, and other poly in the news. So, I mean, he talks about all kinds of stuff. On the right-hand side, there's recent post, which 3 new cities to enact poly anti-discrimination, polyamory rights protection coming to more cities, happy polyamory day, polyamory in the news, just all this stuff. He's got categories, he's got cities that are mentioned. It's just fantastic newsletter, which can be found at polyinthemedia.blogspot.com. Great articles in there. And then the next thing I want to let you guys know about, this seems to be well, most of the shows are educational. This one seems to be a lot of, hey, have you heard? But I wanted to let you guys know about something called Splash and Howl. I know I mentioned it on the show before, but wanted to make sure to mention it again. This event was built by age players for age players. So mark your calendars, November 29 through December 3rd, and escape the winter doldrums and join them for their inaugural event, Donut Grow Up, Howl and Splash in Perryville, Maryland. So get ready to meet your new besties. It's a low-key, intimate social retreat where little scouts, adult babies, littles, middles, and bigs can splash, play, and make memories together. Just a quick heads up, this is purely for social fun and isn't a traditional lifestyle event. That means no dedicated play spaces or classes, but they will have a few hand-picked vendors with all the best age play goodies. I bet I know who a couple of them are, so I will find out and let you guys know. So if you want to get in contact with me, I can be found at Dawn_Awakening or Erotic_Awakening on FetLife, Erotic Awakening on Instagram, EA Podcast Dawn on TikTok, or just email me at dawn@eroticawakening.com. And be a part of the Erotic Awakening podcast community. You can become a patron of the show and get early access to the podcast, a free copy of the audiobook Polyamory Toolkit, free ebooks, decks of Kickstarter cards, discounts on monthly Zoom classes, member-only Discord Not Safe for Work channel, and more. Find all the goodies at patreon.com/Erotic Awakening today. And did you know there are kinksters out there that haven't heard of the show? Help others find Erotic Awakening. Give us high ratings wherever you listen to the podcast, and most importantly, tell your friends. Join the conversation with other listeners. Use the links from the Erotic Awakening website for our interactive Discord channel open to all listeners. Until next time, may your journey be filled with passion, joy, and a bit of naughtiness. Bye, everyone.